Okay, hello everybody. This is Cherie and Beverly, and we are aging backwards with Cherie and Beverly. Today we are doing some question and answers on eating out at restaurants, some guidelines and tips that we have. So, hi Beverly, how are
Hey
you
Cherie,
today?
how you doing? Oh my God, I missed
Good.
you. We did some pre-recorded videos, and then we were off for a holiday. It seems like I haven't seen you in forever. So glad
Right.
to have us connected again, talking all things health and wellness.
Yes, we're always around. So if you ever have any questions or anything, just let us know. And we don't mind researching and doing an episode on something that you're interested in. So
Absolutely.
just let us know, email us. So I'm going to pull up our info for you so that you have it. Here's our title page, Aging Backwards. And I'm Cherie Lynn, a culinary nutrition expert and educator. My program is a step-by-step method to empower exhausted, busy women who suffer from ongoing cravings and stress and just want to get back into those jeans in their closet.
Oh my gosh, getting back into those jeans. Definitely
Yes.
something that we girls like to be able to do. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Cherie. So hi, I'm Beverly. I am a certified health and wellness coach. My company is Beverly Hills Health and Wellness Coaching. I've coached clients who've lost up to 50 pounds in less than a year. I offer a variety of programs online and individually, also in group settings, so you can step into your dazzling health.
Ooh, cool tagline. So we can't go any further unless we, of course, do our disclaimer. So I'll let you read it this time, Bev.
Absolutely. So our disclaimer for Cherie and me is that this information is for educational and informational purposes only and solely as a self-help tool for your own use. We're not providing medical, psychological, or nutritional therapy advice. You should not use this information to diagnose or treat any health problems or illnesses without consulting your own medical practitioner. Always seek the advice of your own medical practitioner and or mental health provider about your specific health situation. So for the full disclaimer, we have a link and you can follow that for more information.
Thank you.
Yours.
So when we talk about eating out, what's not to love about going out to eat? I love going out to eat. So we go out, there's delicious meals, things that we don't make at home usually. They're prepared for you. You don't have to clean up. That's the worst part for me is I wish somebody would like magic elves come in and clean up all the dishes and everything for me every time. And then when we go out to eat, there's good company with family, friends, loved ones. And I'm also that type of person
Hey,
that
cheers to
I'll,
good company.
oh, there you go. Um,
And
I
that's just
can,
sparkling water, you guys.
yeah, but Beverly likes to drink her
Oh
water
yeah,
or
everything I
what,
consume comes out a pretty little glass
yeah,
or a
it
pretty
makes
little
it
cup.
festive.
This is just what I do for me. And the subject that we're covering today is like so amazing because this is something that I find myself doing as a treat for myself, especially since we find ourselves in this time of social distancing. Just to be out with good friends and with
Hmm.
family is just something I so look forward to. And as a health and wellness coach, I do have to be cognizant about the way that I have my meals when we do these restaurant outings.
Right. And it doesn't mean that you can't go out and enjoy yourself. We're just going to give you some ideas and tips and tricks as to maybe something different to order or what to ask for
Mm-hmm.
when you're talking to the waitress or waiter. And they are more than willing to
Accommodate,
oblige and accommodate.
right?
All you have to do is ask. And I
Ask,
think sometimes because it's not on the menu, we're like, oh, well, they don't offer that.
right?
Well, they're not going to put all those little extras on there because it requires more work, but they're willing to please you as the customer
Absolutely.
too.
So stay
So,
tuned because we got so many little tips and strategies for enjoying going out to restaurants
right.
and things that you want to ask for or
So,
have removed.
yeah, yeah, and have removed from your plate if you didn't
Mm-hmm.
want it. So, navigating through the menu, there is so much added fat, salt, sugar, and preservatives in the food when we go out. They add a lot more salt than what you would normally at
Correct.
home. There's excess calories. The typical portion is now considered a kid's meal.
Mhm.
The portions are like double what they used to be.
Yeah.
You know, meals you get in the restaurant are double the size or more than a reasonable portion. We talk about
Yeah.
supersizing at McDonald's. I'm like, who came up with that term? Of course they want you to supersize and add on.
Supersize your body. That's what comes with
Yes. Well, supersize your body. The, they get more money if you upscale to
Mhm.
that next level.
Yeah.
So they make a bigger profit off you as well.
Right.
So you can split an entree with somebody or order an appetizer side salad.
I'll
One
tell you
couple,
another one too, Cherie, is sometimes when I go out and like I love upscale restaurants and they do have like steaks that will fill a whole plate. But I will
Mhm.
request at the point when I'm actually ordering my meal that they cut certain things in half and just put it in a to-go box and bring it to me at the end of the meal. So that's another thing to think of. To
Okay.
just ask them to, hey, a certain item that you're ordering, if it's really huge, ask them to just separate half of it and put it in a to-go box. You
That's
know?
a great idea.
Yeah.
We had a professional development day at school last year, and us teachers get together and we go out to this day we went to Culver's. Okay. And the other teachers they just ordered a kid's meal.
Mhm.
It was cheaper. They didn't want as much food, and they still got a little dish of ice cream,
Oh,
so
nice.
I said, "What are you guys doing?" "Oh, we just order off the kids' meal." Both of them did. And I'm like, perfect, you
Well, you
know?
know what? Some restaurants are not offering that as an option. It's been quite a while since I had that situation to occur, but I've ordered an item off of a kid's meal, just knowing that I wasn't going to be able to eat the regular portion. And they indicated that the kids' meal were only for ages up to 12. So you have to keep that in mind. Some restaurants will not allow you to order
Hmm.
off of that menu. So just ask or just be clear on it. And I didn't take offense to it, but now I think a lot of restaurants are going towards what's called like small plates. So you can order something similar to a kid's meal, but they get their full pricing beyond the cost of a kid's meal. That makes sense.
Okay. Okay. And I know sometimes when you share a meal, they add like $1.50, $2 for the extra plate,
Mhm.
if you're
And
going
you
to
know,
share.
sometimes that might be a bit, frustrating or annoying, but just think of the bigger picture. So
Hmm.
you get a regular size and you eat all of this food, and the end result is that you're not going to feel as comfortable after eating too much food, in addition to the fact you're probably going to pack on extra pounds because you're beyond full. Whereas a buck
Hmm.
can save you that long-term, anxiety of trying to work off those couple of pounds. So don't look at it from a negative perspective. They're just trying to make money because they're in the business of generating revenue. But just think about, don't quibble over a couple of bucks if they're going to charge you for that extra service. So just keep that in mind.
Right. Right. Okay. So restaurant versus home cooked meals. Okay. So the restaurant environment encourages people to eat more. If you go into a nice restaurant and it's got just that wonderful atmosphere, you're going to relax, you're going to enjoy yourself, you're going to, you know, just kind of celebrate being out.
Right. And there's a
So,
lot of marketing to that as well. They have spent a lot
mhm,
of money trying to figure out what colors keep you
yep.
into a mood. They try to figure out what lighting they need to keep you into this frame of an
Mhm.
ambiance. So there's a lot of factors that go into this. It's not that someone just decided to open up a specific restaurant and just start serving meals. There's a lot of psychology behind
Right, even the music, like you said, the mood and the ambiance, the colors, the everything is works together
it. Yeah,
for their benefit, but for
exactly.
you to feel really good. And when we feel really good, what do? You know, we're gonna
Spend more
have,
money,
yeah.
buy more things.
So the same meal that you would have at home, a person would actually eat less.
Mhm.
When you're at the restaurant in that setting, we tend to eat more. It also costs less at home most of the time, depending on what you get.
Mhm.
I actually like to order fish when I go out. I don't really care to cook fish at home. I
I'm the
do
same.
like my salmon and stuff, but I
Yes, salmon.
really
It's pretty easy.
salmon is really
Yeah,
easy. But
at
when
home.
I go to like our local Luigi's or a restaurant where they can cook it really well, I really do enjoy the seasonings they put on it and the
Right.
way that
When they
they
like
cook it.
blacken it sometimes.
Yeah, yeah,
I
I
tell
like
you what
trying
I
that.
love when I go out to a really, really nice restaurant is sea bass. Have you ever tried
Okay,
that?
I
That
have.
is the best piece of fish
Mm-hmm.
at a really nice restaurant.
Yep.
It like literally melts in your mouth and it's as big as like ordering a steak. But you don't feel so heavy when you eat it.
Yep.
And with the flavoring and the
Mm-hmm.
seasonings that's on it, it's just like heaven.
It's it's delicious. Absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love like when we go out, I love to see these specials and I usually check for fish because I try to um add more fish to my diet. So like Mark, my boyfriend and I just had salmon and trout on the grill the other night and we did it in like some aluminum boats, you know, like we put on the grill and it turned out fabulous.
Yeah.
But if I went out to eat, the first thing I'm going to check is what do they have for a fish special and a steak special?
Mhm.
Because if I go out, I want something that I'm not
You're
always
not gonna
having
have
at
it home.
home.
Yes, totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
So we often think of eating out as a celebration and an excuse to indulge.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, and that is true because you know you
True.
don't go out to eat every single day.
Right.
So when you go
Right.
out, it's like, oh,
It's
I
a
get to go
treat.
out.
It's an
Well, and
absolute
now
treat.
especially because we haven't been able to go out, and we've actually are doing the takeout orders. But also remember when you're doing takeout orders, you can still ask for things.
Correct.
They will still like make it the way you want it.
Right.
So, and then if you are at the restaurant, of course, added empty calories from alcohol. We tend to drink and eat more.
Oh my gosh. I am so guilty of trying a restaurant's signature drink. Yes, because it's like something I wouldn't make at home.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think this is called Capital Grill. This is like one of my absolute favorite restaurants to bring family or guests or I don't know, people that I haven't seen who are not used to being in this area where I am. Is very cosmopolitan and very like trendy and the who's who. But Capital Grill, they have this signature drink, which is like a pineapple martini, I think it's called. And I
Okay.
love pineapple, but I try not to eat a lot of pineapple because it's like a lot of sugars.
Yeah.
They
It's
take
good
their
though.
pineapples and they add the liquor and it sits for I don't know a day or something, and it's like this nice clean martini that it ends up being used for. It's just so difficult to describe it, but when they bring it to your table, it's all frothy and light, and it's just like such a treat, like dessert in a glass. Like if you have this drink, you cannot have dessert. And after the frothiness, subsides, and it's just like almost like a liquid um glass of happiness. You have to try this. This is absolutely amazing. So
Yeah, it sounds like something I'll have to have.
it is, and it was so light, it was so fluffy. So we invited, family and friends for some event. It's like a whole table full of us together. And I
Right.
share with everyone, I'm like, for all of those who are drinkers, I have to encourage you to try their signature drink. And so there's people at the table like, oh, I'm used to having this drink or that drink. I'm like, you just got to try this. So they
Hmm.
accommodated my suggestion, and just about everyone who ordered it wanted a second one. I'm like, hey, you can't do this, 'cause there's so many calories.
Yeah.
So light, and it was so delicious. And having alcohol helps you to have a little more, like, what is it, like, inhibitions are lowered and you're just in the moment. So I would encourage you to, if you're going to have the alcohol, to keep in mind that it does have a lot of
Yeah.
calories, and do drink responsibly, and be knowledgeable of the fact that it is alcohol and it can be toxic. So, don't, you know, get to the point where you're passed out somewhere in a restaurant.
The one thing that comes to mind when you're talking about that is their signature drink, and the only way that you're going to know if you like it is by having it.
Right.
And then
Nobody
you
else
can
can make
figure
it.
out, but then you can figure out, okay, what's in this and how did they do that? And then how can I make this at home, but swap out a few ingredients to
Oh,
try to
that's
make
true.
it a little healthier? That's the only way you can do that, is by trying things. And I like to do that at restaurants, and then be kind of experimental in the kitchen
Hmm.
to try to recreate something. And that's why I like to
It's a
try
great
some of
idea.
those main dishes that you can only get at those restaurants. Or like I would try that drink. Absolutely.
Hmm.
So restaurants are now providing calorie information, and that started a few years ago, but they're getting even better at it now.
Hmm.
So that when you know that you're going to go out, you can plan ahead.
Hmm.
And it really, with everything with our wellness and health and weight loss,
Hmm.
is planning ahead,
Correct.
me- menu prepping, meal planning, everything. So look at the menu online
Yeah.
ahead of time, either
Right.
the website or social media. And one thing that Beverly and I discussed was some of the websites haven't been updated
Hmm.
with this COVID thing.
Yeah.
And maybe because, we think it's going to be over and then they don't want to have to put it back. But
Go back
I
and
recently went to a store. It was a clothing store, though, not restaurant. And their website, I looked it up because I had to leave town. And I'm like, I'm going to run over here and get, my daughter's birthday present. And it said 9 o'clock, they open. I get there and it's closed. It's
yeah,
dark. It's
yeah.
nothing. So I called a friend. I said, hey, I thought they opened at 9 o'clock. And she looked, and then she looked on Facebook. Oh, it says 10 o'clock. So they changed it on Facebook, but they didn't change it on the website. So then
Yeah.
when, they did open, and I said, hey, she's like, oh yeah, we don't even use the website. We just update I'm like, yeah, well, I'm not happy with that
Right.
because
And I was sharing with you, I had a similar experience. I went to run out to a store to pick something up, and I knew they closed at 7. I wanted to kind of wait until the traffic was a bit lighter so I can run and take care of that without, being caught up in traffic. So I went, made it before 7, uh,
mm-hmm.
got to the store, grabbed the door to go in, and it's locked. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like, what's the matter? So I'm peeking through, trying to see if there's anybody there. I'm like, did maybe something happened and they needed to close? And I see somebody kind of approaching the door, and I said,
Mm-hmm.
like, well, what time do you close? And she said, like, 6 o'clock. I'm like, but your door says 7. Like,
Right.
like, no,
Right.
we're closed. So yeah, you definitely have to
Yeah.
either call ahead, because of the times that we're in
Mm-hmm.
right now. Some of the businesses cannot operate to the same degree that they were operating before, because they're under different mandates for social distancing. So just keep that in
Mm-hmm.
mind and call ahead. So
Yeah, there's just not as many people shopping, and they had to, I understand they had to decrease their
minimize the
hours.
number of people that are in the
Right.
store at one time too.
Right. And I know some restaurants actually took a few items off of their menus
Mhm.
they kept the top sellers, which
Right.
I understand. You can't have all that extra food in your freezers and fridges,
Yeah, it's costing them
it's,
money. Right.
yeah, they have to be mindful of their,
Trying to stay
dollars.
in business and not,
Hmm.
fold to all of the changes that they're having to accommodate right now.
Right. So one of the other things that you can do is ask, do they offer gluten-free items if you're watching that? Often they contain fewer grains, but they add more vegetables,
Mhm.
so that's good.
Mhm.
Eat a light snack before you go.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not, you can look at it as being counterproductive, but if you have an apple or a cup of almonds, maybe you're not going to get that deep fried basket that you might have otherwise, you know, or drink 8 ounces of water before leaving so that when you get there and you have, you know, a drink and, you know, you're not just going to load up on the bread basket or the chips
Oh my
and
gosh, yeah.
salsa or the extra stuff, you
And one
know.
more thing that I would share as well, which is what I do, usually going out to the restaurant is like a planned affair for us. And, you know, I am a big advocate of fasting. So I will intentionally set my fasting window so I can have this extra period of not eating. So when I do have the opportunity to have my meal, it will be a situation where I've not consumed calories all day, and this
Right.
is where I'm breaking my fast.
Right.
So I
You didn't
eat
eat.
a snack before. I mean,
Right.
kind of decide, you know, which works for me, works for you, but for me, it's definitely an extended fast.
Yeah. So if you know that you're going to go out to eat at 7 o'clock p.m., maybe you waited until after lunch to eat your first meal if you have more than one meal a day.
Mhm. Yeah, you know, I'm
You know?
more mad.
I know. I added that if you have more than one meal a day. Okay. Beverly's more OMAD, which is one meal a day, whereas I'm more of the at least two. So I do more of a 18-6
Yeah, so
on
everybody's body
most
is
days, not
different.
every day.
Yeah, and not every day for me either.
Yeah. This is real. This is real life. This isn't,
Correct.
we're not robots. So, okay. So at the restaurant, you can always order the sauce on the side. You know, so if you have a sauce for, say, your salad, or you have marinara, or you have ranch, or whatever, get it on the side. Don't let them load it up for you.
Right.
Avoid anything fried or in cream sauce. Your broths are going to be better than your cream sauce with this. Choose a protein with 2 vegetables and a healthy fat.
Mhm.
Salad dressings, and they're made with avocado. So I have been substituting in some healthy fats in other ways because I'm not an avocado eater. So I've been trying. I said I would try, right? That's one way I was
Yeah, I
doing
know
it.
you're not a big avocado person. I think I lost you in translation there somewhat, but I do recall that you're not a big avocado person, but avocados are definitely great choices. Okay, so we gotta wait for Cherie to hop back on. Yeah, there you are.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, there was a little
You know what it was?
static there for a moment, and I thought it would catch up, but apparently you dropped and you're back on. So
Yeah,
kudos.
I'm like, okay, all right, here we are.
Yeah. So we
So
were
you can
actually talking about
also,
the avocados.
yeah, I don't know what happened. Order your burger without a bun or on a salad. You
Yeah.
can ask for no added salt if that's something you don't want in your diet. Add
If
extra
you want to pull up that
vegetables.
presentation so they can follow you.
It's not on you.
No, it's
You
not
can't see
on.
it.
I think it fell off when you had to come back, the presentation.
Oh, hold
Technology is so
on.
much fun, huh?
Okay. Oh, it did fall off, didn't it?
Yeah, no worries. But you were
Okay.
talking about the avocado and then the open face, either burger or sandwich, and I do that.
Here we are.
Sometimes I find myself at some luncheon and they have sub sandwiches for everyone, and I'm not a big proponent of eating sandwiches because of the bread, but I will take the top bun off and maybe dig out as much of the bread that I can off the bottom and eat it open face. So that's another way that.
Yeah, open-faced. That's
Mhm,
another term that they use now,
mhm.
the open-faced burger.
Right.
Um, Yeah, and if you don't want a baked potato or, you know, a certain vegetable that they have, ask and see what they have,
They give you a
you
substitute
know.
usually.
Yeah, you can substitute.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
And again, it may cost you, you know, a few cents or a buck, but you know, for your health, you're worth it.
right. Yeah, and I think that is the bottom line. For your health,
Right.
you're worth it.
And I think
So,
one that, depending on what type of vegetables, like I love asparagus, so I would often ask if you have asparagus, and I'm like, yeah, it's like $3 or $4, but that's fine. Give it to me. I'm having a wonderful meal. I want to have some
mhm,
really nice vegetables to go along with it, so it works.
perfect.
Hmm.
Perfect. Okay, instead of pasta, potatoes, rice, ask for a double order of mixed vegetables. That works.
Yep.
What to watch out for at restaurants? You know, you go for your morning mojo, and what do? We grab the muffins, the bagels, the pastries, you know, and there's all the extra carbs and sugars,
Yeah.
and you're gonna hit cravings at lunchtime or right after lunch. It's
Hmm.
just not gonna sustain you. There's not enough protein and fat in
Yeah.
that morning mojo
Yeah. You'll
with your,
crash.
yeah. And the other thing that oh, I'll wait till later and say that. I was thinking about the scones, but we talked about, whereas a lot of times
Oh
that
yeah.
we think that the pastries are made right there at at the restaurant that we're getting. And I was telling Beverly about a time where I went to the coffee shop and I said, "Oh, do you bake the scones here?"
Oh
"Oh,
yeah.
yes, we bake them here." And I said, "Oh, do
However,
you?" And I started asking about the ingredients, and she's like, "Oh, well, we just take them out of the box frozen and put them on the sheet, and then we put them in the oven."
that
So
seems so
they
deceptive.
so they bake them there. They don't make them there. They come from the food service company that also does our hot food for school. Same company, but they also supply the restaurants and the coffee shops. And so it's
Yeah.
the same darn thing that they're probably charging double for and saying that they make them there,
And
bake
that's the
them
key
there.
word. If you ask them
Yeah,
if they make them there, they say yes. And so the thought is that someone was there early morning, mixing all of the ingredients and preparing it for baking, and then
yeah,
they're fresh when you arrived when they opened. But that's not the case. So you have to consider that there is preservatives in those delicious goodies that had to be included to get it from point A to point B whenever the restaurant decide to bake them.
right. Yeah, so they can sit in a box in the freezer for longer, right?
Mhm.
Or on the shelf. Okay, so another thing to watch out for is that darn bread basket. And it's oh so good.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I'll tell you another tip that I use for myself is that I'm normally not a bread person, but when you go to these
mhm,
nice restaurants, the breads are so amazing. And I'll
mhm,
use that as an opportunity to try something different, because I've gone to restaurants and they'll have this basket and they'll have 4 or 5 different varieties of bread. So I'll usually go to one of the darker colored breads. So I think that it doesn't
mhm.
have most of the nutrition stripped out of, you know, whatever
Right.
wheat or grains that they use to make the bread. And the other thing is that usually it'll be a big bun or a loaf or something. I'll just cut myself a piece
Mhm.
and maybe cut out as much of the excess bread in the middle, so I have the crusty part with all of the flavoring or grains that are on the outside. And I will just eat that one piece and that was it. So at least I was enjoying the entire aspects of having the pre-meal, but without overindulging and having so much of this bread that I'm so full that I can't enjoy my entree.
Right. Right. When I have a salad bar where I maybe have a steak, I do love the salad bar, but I don't know that many places can have that anymore with
No,
all of the,
salad bars are
so
probably a
they're
thing of the past.
probably, but I so enjoyed them. And my dad would always say, "Stop filling up on the salad bar." But I love having everything out there for me.
Mhm,
But okay, be aware of your portion sizes. We talked about that already.
mhm.
Pasta calories add up quickly. And on serving equals a half cup or about the size of your fist. And when you order pasta, you get this huge plate, but it's, you should only have about that much. So
Yeah,
it adds up fast. And
really
with
does.
pasta, most of the pasta at the restaurants is made out of white flour.
Yeah,
So there's not a lot of nutritional
not good
value
for you.
in that pasta.
Right.
So, and at home you can get, made out of quinoa, out of
A
brown rice,
variety of different types of pastas. I've even
spinach,
seen
out
one made
of,
out of like black beans.
yeah, you can get so many different types of pasta. And, they're different colors, but you have to try them. And some of them are a little bit more al dente and
Yeah,
a little thicker, but experiment and just try. And
right. And they have the veggie noodles now. You can use like
Mhm,
zucchini, different types of squash. So yeah,
right.
those are options.
Yeah, and you can even buy some of that
Correct.
already done.
Correct.
So I'm all for the cheat. I'm not, you don't have time. We have busy lives. You
Correct.
don't have to sit there and slave away
Yeah.
and great. You can buy some of that in the
These are
deli
tips
area,
for your health. Right.
in the
Absolutely.
produce area. You can, just purchase it the way you need it,
Right.
and like you said, Bev, pay the extra dollar or two, save yourself some time.
Right.
So,
Right.
avoid cheesy entrees and cream-based soups. We kind of talked about the
Mhm.
broth-based soups are going to be your less caloric. Some of the cheesy entrees, I love my cheese. I'm from Wisconsin, but I like
I
I
love
like
your cheeses too. I love cheese.
the I like the good cheese, the
Yeah.
the
I've learned to read
aged,
the packaging of where the cheese
the
comes from and
yeah,
yeah. Mhm.
not the stuff in the plastic wraps and
Or
the
this squeezy kind.
yeah. No, I want the good cheese. We even have a fudge cheese. It's a
Oh my
chocolate cheese
goodness.
with nuts, and it tastes just like fudge. And I'm like, oh, but it's cheese. So, okay, what to watch out for at fast food restaurants? Of course, the supersizing.
Mhm.
So, just the soda alone, I stay away from fries and onion rings. I'm a sucker for onion rings.
Mhm.
Really am. The fries, not so much, but you get so many on your plate when you order at some restaurants. It's like they fill half the plate with just the onion or the fries. Say no to cheese. We talked about different types of cheese. Order your sandwiches without mayo or the special sauce.
Mhm. Yeah. You know, one thing that I would like to point out, like, because health and wellness is my space, I literally have almost, to choose my words correctly, almost don't consider fast food options for my health. Um,
Hmm.
there are times when I might have guests and, maybe the younger kids they'll have and they're used to running out to these fast food restaurants. And if that's your thing, that's fine. But as far as my health, there's just been so much research around the lack of nutritional value in a lot of these
Hmm.
foods that I just try to avoid it because I'm looking to nourish and also provide my body the nutrients that it needs. So
Yep.
I know that at certain stages of life, your body may be able to process those a lot better, but I'm in a stage in life where I have to fuel my body with nutrient dense, healthy, whole food. So just keep that in
Hmm.
mind that if that's your focus, straddling the line between trying to find something at the fast food restaurants that really is not going to serve you to the best degree. So just be cognizant of that.
Right.
I don't think that there's
Yep.
anything on the menu, that even salad, that I want out of a fast food restaurant because it's so tempting to pick up something else.
Right. Just be mindful about what you're doing and what you're purchasing and what you're eating. There are times where, you know, sometimes you just don't have a choice. You're maybe with a group and you're like, just
I
do
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 get
your
that.
best.
Yes, some people
Do
feel
your
like that.
best.
That's why I fast. If
Hmm.
everybody's going to eat, I can swing with you to pick up something, but I will
Right.
pass. Always have
Right.
some little snack or something in your purse, like your almonds that you mentioned, or something to carry you over if that's something that you find yourself facing, but you always have a choice. So be cognizant,
Mm-hmm.
where you are and what you need to do to keep your health, first and foremost in
Well,
your.
and it's all about that going back to planning ahead too. And if you have something like you can have stuff thrown in your bag that doesn't have to be refrigerated,
Yeah,
like the almonds. I
yeah,
actually found
always
some
be.
salmon bites. I haven't opened them yet. I haven't tried them yet, but I was at the grocery store and it's just a small little package and it's these little salmon bites because I've been trying to add more fish to my diet. And I'll have to see. But again, they didn't have to be refrigerated.
Right.
They're in a package, but
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
it's
lots of
something for you
options
to
out
try.
there, so just be cognizant.
Yes. So, and I kind of jumped to this one before,
Yeah,
and
you talked about
is
the
it made
bake.
from scratch? Yeah,
Mhm.
because I was like, well, I could wait till later.
Yeah.
But your scones, your pastries, even your soups, a lot of the restaurants pre-order their soups. They're not homemade, and we think that they're homemade, that they made them there from scratch, and most of the time, they're not.
Yeah,
They come in like a bag and they dump it in the pan, and it's got all the added stuff in it, and it's they don't make things like they used to.
right.
Even our hot lunch at school, those ladies used to come in at 5 o'clock in the morning and make all
Do
that stuff
all
from
the
scratch.
cooking.
They
Yes.
don't.
Yeah.
It's brought in, it's put on the pan, it's warmed up, and it's a shame.
Yeah.
We
And
really
that's
wish.
probably one of the reasons why our kids are having such health problems, because of the quality of some of the foods that they're eating has changed
Yeah,
drastically over the years.
they're not getting the nutrients
The
that
kids are having
that they
problems with
they're
obesity, high blood pressure. That's absurd.
yeah, they're not getting the fruits and veggies like
Hmm.
we used to.
Yeah. And
So
hanging out at the fast food restaurants.
yes, yes, yes.
I'm sorry, I should stop. I just think that that's criminal, some of the things that they're doing to the kids.
Yeah, I when I used to I'll just jump to this. I did a program where we would bring fruits and vegetables into the gym, and because I'm a FIA teacher besides doing the health coaching, and I ran a program every year where we taught the kids how to do smoothies, how to make them, and the
Awesome.
one year we showed them what kiwi was. And
Interesting.
well, the interesting thing about it was the gal that ran the hot food lunch line said, she'd have kiwi out there on like the salad bar thing, but the kids wouldn't take it. Well, it's because it wasn't something that they got at home.
Hmm.
So they didn't know what it was.
Right, right.
So we took them in a different setting and we had the kids, we shared them with them, cut up kiwi.
Mhm.
We had them sit down with 3 or 4 kids in a circle and they all tried it together. And then they discussed whether or not they liked it or not. And some of them were like, I love it. Well, then the kid
Yeah,
that was really kind of like the whole Mikey thing with the commercial back in the 70s,
I
right?
remember that. Hey, Mikey.
Hey, Mikey, I like it, right? And then they would talk about it. And then all of a sudden, my friend that did the lunch line, she's like, they ate all of it.
Yeah, yeah.
They
And
just
see,
didn't
that's
know
the
what it
thing about
was.
health and wellness. Like, you have to be exposed to things, and we're
Hmm.
coming with these videos and conversations about all of these options. So children, they will emulate what they see. So if you
Right.
provided them with a positive environment for them to try these new fruits, and it
Hmm.
was something that they enjoyed with their other,
Hmm.
treats, then it's just like, okay, well, this is good. And just putting it in a smoothie, oh my gosh, you could put, spinach in a smoothie and the kids wouldn't know anything different. It just tastes good.
Yeah.
But you just have to be able to provide them a way to experience it in the most positive way possible.
Well, and you have to call things by a name that they like. So the spinach one that maybe we had frozen bananas in, we called that one the Green Hulk.
Oh, wow,
So
that's very
yeah.
creative. Very
So,
creative.
or the purple one was, some purple monster or something. So you have to make it fun and inviting
Right.
for the kids too.
Right.
But you have to, you know, if all they knew is canned vegetables,
Mhm.
yuck,
Yeah.
right? Because
And
we
that
know how,
experience would last them into adulthood. They'll remember
right,
that positive experience. So
right.
awesome. Good job there.
That was, yeah, it was a good program. So now I think we're down to the end. Was there anything that you wanted to add about restaurants, Bev, before we check out?
Well, one of the things that I wanted to share was that when we were looking at this topic, it's so expansive. So we tried to bring this to you in a bite-sized experience, but we're
Mm-hmm.
actually going to come back with a couple of other spin-offs to this, and we'll talk about specific restaurants and also
Right.
the opportunity for you to have questions related to specific things on these different options. I'm in, as I indicated, a metropolitan area that's very multicultural. So we have Indian food, we have Thai food, we have Mexican food, we have, what is it, like the Southern style foods, like so many different options.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have some understanding of what these menus look like and ways that you can have these foods without bringing in all of the high calorie content and the oils that will not serve you as well. But I try to eat out to different places because my friends are so diverse, and we'll go to different restaurants. I even tried
Mm-hmm.
an Ethiopian restaurant with a group of friends, and the communal eating and understanding, you know, what I need to order and what I need to stay away from. So this is just a conversation that we're going to expand out. And, you know, I'd love to hear questions that people would have or other areas related to restaurant eating that you want us to address. But this is such a fun topic, and this is something
Mm-hmm.
that it serves the community, because you don't want to feel stifled when you go out and you could only have a salad. Like, you can have a salad at home. No, you can go out and have a great experience, but just
Mm-hmm.
be aware of some of the choices that you can bring into the experience to make it much more healthier version.
Right. So we'll break it down in probably our next one, huh? We'll decide, and we'll go through all the different cultures and what you could look for and ask for and avoid, or, you know, it'll be just
Well, the
kind of an
video series
extension.
they can
What?
find on our YouTube, so just wanted to share where they can
Yeah,
watch the
they
series.
can, it would be, it's kind of like an extension off of this one, just a little deeper into all the different restaurants and cultures that we can have. And Beverly's in the DC area and I'm in Wisconsin. So we have different restaurants even where we are,
Mhm.
you know, by our location. So,
Right.
um, okay.
Well,
Well,
we
I'm
got a lot
Cherie.
more to come, so look
We got a
for
lot more to
it.
come.
It's going to be amazing.
And if there's any other topics that you want, you know, go ahead and, you know, shout out to us. Make sure you subscribe. Give us a thumbs up
Yeah, thumbs
if you
up.
like what we're doing. And I'm Cherie Lynn. I have the program Cherie Lynn Inc. And here's my Instagram and my Facebook. My free group is Overcome Extreme Fatigue with Cherie Lynn. So you're welcome to join. So, and Beverly's information is there. You want to go over that, Bev?
Yeah, again, I'm Beverly with Beverly Hills Health and Wellness Coaching. My tagline is Step into Dazzling Health. So you can reach me on my website, which is beverlyhillscoaching.com. Feel free to drop in and request a coaching session, no cost at all. I have a Facebook group that's private. I have one that's just general, and a Instagram as well. I think, Cherie, we should also add our YouTube link in the future, so that's accessible for people, because
Oh, we can, yeah, we
it's
can do
different.
that. We'll put that right there,
Yeah,
and then we can do that. Just remind me and I'll do that for the next one with all of the different restaurants. That would be,
perfect.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. We
just
have
keep
so much going
improving.
on.
Just keep improving it every single time, right?
Absolutely. We're so glad
So,
you joined us here.
yes, thanks everybody.
Thank you. So great to see you. Take care. Bye.